Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another live broadcast of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League here live on 3Y TV. I am joined by my man Carlos Acosta, and tonight, Carlos, we take on everybody's favorite triangle, that is Poc-Oh-No here tonight. How excited are you to pick back up here with the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League after that caution-filled race last week?
Let's not spend too much time dabbling on that race that we had last week. I want to talk about the tricky triangle here in Poc-Oh-No, or I should say Long Pond, Pennsylvania. But should be a blast. It's a tricky triangle because you can never get the car set up for all three corners. And not only that, but you have to really think about which corner you want to prioritize, because if you don't prioritize turn one, then you're gonna have a hard time. In turn two when you have a couple other drivers side by side behind you. If you don't prioritize turns three, guess what? That's the longest straightaway in all of NASCAR right now. You're gonna lose so much time and speed. And honestly, if I were to put any money, I would probably prioritize turns three.
Yeah, turn three is definitely going to be a tricky corner here tonight. But after all of those cautions last week, Carlos, again, it was Mr. Consistency himself, Nick Delicado, picking up another victory in this series. And Carlos, this is our last Dash for Cash qualifier here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. Nick has done a great job of cashing in, if you will, throughout this season. We're taking a look at those point settings down in the right-hand corner of your screen. Of course, the man himself, Nick Delicado, is at the top of that table. But Carlos, what other names stand out on that table that you think might break through here tonight?
Oh, it's going to be a little hard to fully choose a driver. Of course, you can always go easy. Looking at 11th on the current top 12 that are in, Johnny Eckert. You know that man is capable of getting it in championship form and winning championships left and right. But he struggled heavily this season. Had a couple bad races to start with, a couple good races now. He really needs to fully continue with his consistent streak that he normally has and be able to get out of this already kind of danger zone area that he's at. Johnny Eckert in 11th, that's very un-Eckert-like for him. Also, Kean Riley 7th, DJ Week 6. All these guys up top, they're all doing a great job getting it up and running, but I gotta say, 13th, 14th, and 15th, any of those guys are also capable of getting in the playoffs. That could potentially knock out any other drivers that are currently in. But what do you see right now?
Yeah, for me, I think the top two names underneath Nick and Delicado are some names to watch out. Barrett Paul-Hemus right there and Tom Ogle. We've seen those two guys really race consistently throughout this season, but just haven't been able to come out of the shadow of Nick and Delicado here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. Carlos, some other names that I think should pop out for the folks at home. Kean Riley out of Shift Esports is another name to watch out for. Very good in this style of race car. DJ Weeks is another name to watch out. But another name to watch out there, Carlos, and it's kind of interesting to see him at the bottom of the table right here, of course, at that playoff cut line, is Sam Brochu. We've seen Sam really put forth a great effort week in and week out in this series, but just doesn't have the finishes that stacks up on that table right there. Of course, has those chase points right there. You see about 3 points for him so far. But Carlos, I think those are the three names that really pop out for me there on that table. We'll see if any of them can break through here tonight.
Well said. And speaking of breaking through here tonight, we are currently going into qualifying. And, well, let me tell you something. We've had 5 races in the books. How many pole sitters have we had? Take a guess.
How many?
We've had 5 different pole sitters. We have yet to have a repeat pole sitter in this season. Is tonight going to be the first time you get a repeat pole sitter, or do you think we're going to go and have a 6th pole sitter in a row? Because right now we got Zach Roethlisberger, Joshua Robinson, David Westergreen, DJ Weeks, and Tom Ogle. Each have a pole, but they only have one.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. But as we've seen throughout this season here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League, it doesn't really matter who starts at the top of the grid in these races. You always have to watch out for that forward machine coming through the grid to overtake that. But Carlos, that is a good take here tonight. We'll see if somebody else can start at the top of this grid, or if it's Mr. Consistency himself in that forward machine taking the pole here at Poc-Oh-No. And folks, this is a bit of a shorter race that we're going to run here at Poc-Oh-No, Carlos. I don't know if you were able to check out that race day information, but tonight we're going to run about 80 laps here at Poc-Oh-No. We're going to run stage 1's going to end at lap 16. Stage 2 is going to end at lap 32. No breaks in the action though, folks. We keep things rolling here in the DSCR. No breaks as we're just going to roll right through those stages. Of course, we'll indicate those stage winners throughout the race here tonight. So, Carlos, you just mentioned, though, on this grid that we're setting here during qualifying, it is actually important to maybe get a top 5 starting position, top 10. That way you don't have to waste any time of working your way up inside the top, that top of the field there.
Yeah, I know you're going to have the draft to help you out, but these first couple corners are going to be very crucial to on the initial start of the race and restarts coming up. All these drivers, they're all side by side, and Poc-Oh-No, I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at it. This is a massive track, not only massive in overall size, but also massive in racing width. You can definitely fit about the same amount of cars you can probably do in Talladega or Michigan, maybe not California, but well, except for maybe the front stretch, because that front stretch, right, anywhere in that front stretch is legal. We've seen 7, 8 wide in real life before. Thankfully, most of that time it does work out. But these restarts and the initial start of the race, they're going to be wild. They're going to be where you're going to make up the most amount of time. And if you're falling asleep, you're going to find yourself losing way too much time.
Of course, here, Carlos, as we're watching qualifying taking place right now here on 3 Wide TV. Ty McIntosh is at the top of the grid here so far. We saw Evans up there for just a split second until Ty McIntosh came along and knocked him off that top spot. So, Carlos, we're going right down that path as you were talking about maybe a new pole sitter here once again to start off this race here, the last Dash for Cash race here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. And we'll see some of these other bigger names take the track. We see right now Sam Broshi's out on the track, really running a good lap here so far. You see that purple indicator down on the left-hand side of your screen. That means he's getting a better lap. And you see that, Carlos, he's jumped up into second place right there on that grid. It's a bit of a mistake. You see Riley Marabello is in that purple zone as well, folks. And that means that they're running a better lap than they did the first time around. And you see a big accident on the track here during qualifying, Carlos.
Yeah, that was Riley Marabello. It looks like he made a mistake. He definitely had the fastest sector at that point before it looked like he binned it. So unfortunately for actually no, never mind. He's second. So I think this was after he crossed the start-finish line.
Indeed, there, Carlos. And as mentioned, this is the last Dash for Cash qualifier race here tonight at Poc-Oh-No. And Carlos, you want to take a gander or what the last Dash for Cash race is here on this season?
Oh, I think it's a little too unfair to ask me because I have the actual schedule here. But before I pull it up, okay, I know it's a road course race. I don't remember what road course race it is.
We go to Indy, but
yeah,
it's an Indy road course there for the last Dash for Cash. And folks, you know, we spoke about the point settings here as we're taking a live look at qualifying to see who's going to start this field off at the front here at Poc-Oh-No. And after that Dash for Cash race at the Indy Road Course next week, Carlos, you know, these drivers only have 2 more races to try to qualify for that chase, the chase playoffs there at the end. And there's 2 tracks that are in their way.
Wait,
and it's very difficult tracks there, Carlos. We take on Dover and Charlotte Motor Speedway to close out the regular season.
That's right. Dover is going to be the first race after I turn 28. So it'll be pretty fun to see these guys go round and round in a very tough and demanding. Well, would you consider Dover a short track?
I mean, it's tough. I would say it's in the middle range of a short track to an oval track.
It's got the vibes of a short track.
It does, exactly. It does. It's hard to pass. It's tight racing throughout. My grandfather actually has a win at Dover Downs, and of course, it used to be the Budweiser 400 at Dover Downs back in the day. And I even remember the days where he had the monster holding the trophy there, Carlos.
Oh yeah, Mouse the Monster. But that's going to do it for qualifying. Guess what? The man did it. The mad lad did it. Ty McIntosh didn't turn on his webcam here tonight, so we don't have an in-car feed for Ty, unfortunately. Would have been the perfect time for us to do it. But Ty McIntosh, 6 different pole sitter in 6 different races to start off this league. But let's go over through here the qualifying results.
There, Carlos.
Cue the music! It's a little quiet, I apologize, but it's here now. Take
a look there, Carlos, at our starting grid here for the Poc-Oh-No 200. Ty McIntosh, as just mentioned, is going to lead things off here, rolling off P1. Riley Marabello is going to start P2 right next to him. Sam Brochu, one of those names I said to watch out for here tonight, is going to roll off P3. Johnny Eckert, that name that Carlos had pointed out for you folks, going to roll off P4. DJ Weeks going to be starting off in the 5th position at Outlaw Racing. Vincent Isabella with a great run there, and that 5 machine is going to roll off in 6th place. Josh Robinson's going to roll off 7th. Tom Ogle, one of those names that we mentioned as well, is going to roll off 8th. Alexander Schumacher in that 09 machine is going to roll off in the 9th position. Nick Indelicato, Mr. Consistency himself in that 4 machine, is going to get a great starting position in P10. Now I'll throw it on over to you, Carlos, to round out that starting grid.
And the 11th is the me fine, but probably might not be very fine after tonight. Zach Evans, do have an in-car car of him tonight as well. Seth Ross qualified in 12th with the Shift Esports machine. 13th place is going to be Zach Roethlisberger. 14th, Justin Johnson. Andrew Hess, 15th. John DeBarro, 16th. Dallas Myhan, it's been a name that I haven't seen in a short while. And 17th with David Westergreen for Outlaw Racing in 18th. Alex Buffoli qualified here in 19th with Adam Tepe from Indiana out here in 20th.
Yeah, and 21st going to be Davis Warren riding off out of the great state of Texas. Kevin Strandberg's going to roll off 22nd. Cody McCorkle right there is going to roll off in 23rd. Jordan Tarble in 24th. And to round out our starting grid here tonight, Rich Allen is going to roll off in the 25th position.
Thank you so much. And of course, the last 3 drivers, 23rd, 24th, and 25th, did not post a qualifying lap. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually do get on track. Actually, from what I'm seeing, everybody is on track. So we're not going to have anybody that's missing the start. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see some of the drivers that didn't qualify, if they have anything that they might be able to move up. Is it a challenge for them to just kind of move up very quickly, or are they just afraid that they're going to get caught up in something big? And well, Poc-Oh-No is no stranger to big accidents, both in real life and in sim racing. And this track, there's been some big ones.
There has been indeed, and I don't think this race is going to be the race that we see everybody high-fiving and handshakes at the end of this. I think it's going to be a little testy, a little heated after the end of this race here tonight at Poc-Oh-No here tonight, as the pace car is going to lead us down that long backstretch that Carlos was talking about to start off this broadcast. And I think Dallas Myhan is I think Dallas Myhan's returning off. Yeah, you see right there. That is, you see that long front stretch right there that we see right in your point of view, and then right there is a short stretch. Then we go down. It's a favorite triangle here, Carlos, and right there is really going to be the tricky, I think, part of it. And you mentioned that as well at corner 3 and 4. It's going to really give these drivers a lot of fits here tonight, because you almost have to time that perfectly as you come down into that corner.
Yep, pace car is off. We're about to go green here for the first of 80 laps here. Stage 1, lap 16. Stage 2, lap... actually, Will, help me out here.
Lap 16 is going to be end of stage 1, as Ty McIntosh is going to take us down into corner number 1, the race leader right now. And Carlos, I'll get that information for you in just a second. Take a look right now at that breakdown. As Ty McIntosh is going to lead this race down into the corner. Stage 2 is going to end at lap 32 right there, Carlos. As still it's Ty McIntosh leading us down.
Yeah, it seemed interesting. I thought Sam Brochu in the white and pink Toyota was going to make it 3 wide for the lead. As you can see in this racetrack, it's definitely not an uncommon sight. But was wisely able to back off. Johnny Eckert was able to get that spot now up 1 position into 3rd place. Vincent Isabella was able to move up 2, as Brochu did lose 2 during that whole exchange. Went from 3rd to 5th. But Ty McIntosh, I actually thought he wouldn't have held on based on the way he was setting up that first corner. But now at the exit of turn 3, because there is no turn 4, he's going to go across the start-finish line and lead the very first lap of this race.
Yeah, it's a tricky race for the drivers. It's a tricky race for us up here in the booth. We're used to saying coming off a 3 and 4, but it looks like we have a battle for the lead taking place right now down into the corner. Riley Marabello is going to go to the inside of Ty McIntosh in that 10 as we come around to that long stretch right there.
Oh.
Riley Marabello is going to keep to the inside, and you see him swerve a little bit, getting a little testy there off the corner. Ty McIntosh going to try to hold on there, but Riley has a big run from a push from Johnny Eckert, who's going to take that second position away from Ty McIntosh down into the corner right here. Riley Marabello is now our race leader, heading down that last stretch down into corner number 3.
Oh man, Ty McIntosh did the one thing that you just don't want to do, especially in broadcaster races, and that's go wide and hit the wall when the camera's on you, especially on lap number 2. He's gone from hero all the way to, well, not zero, but definitely in second place right now. Has lost the lead as Ryan Marbello has just ran the fastest lap of the race. Of course, still very early on in this race, so all of this can change. But towards the back, it seems to be mostly single file racing, which does kind of appear to be the norm once the cars kind of get a little stretched out. But you know, starting the race, we just came off a very horrible and upsetting week at Martinsville, which is par for the course at a lot of leagues and official races. So I'm sure these guys, they got a big warning. They got the biggest stressing down of their lives earlier today during the drivers' meeting, which is why the race actually started 5 minutes later than usual. Race control is letting them know, hey, this is what we're going to be doing now. This is what we want and don't want you guys to do, and pretty much telling them to be better. And these drivers so far, they're listening to that approach. Is clean racing all throughout so far. Nothing appearing egregious so far. And well, we're already on lap 4 here of lap 16 of 16 laps here in stage 1.
Yes, sir, we are. And I know I was absent for that race last week, but we had a record amount of cautions at that race last week, Carlos. Don't think we're going to see as many here tonight. I'm sure we'll see some cautions once these drivers
I don't think it's possible.
turn up the heat just a little bit. We've seen it so far in this series, Carlos. You know, the drivers really kind of feel it out the first couple stages there. And that last bit of racing that we get here in this series where the drivers really turn up the volume, if you will. The heat gets turned up, the AC gets turned off, and these drivers really put those pedals to the floor here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. So we'll see right now if these drivers really want to push up to the top of the grid or if they want to just keep themselves comfortable right now, hold on to positions right now. You see take an onboard ride with Johnny Eckert right there in that third position. Getting a good look at how he's conquering this track here tonight as he's trying to overtake Ty McIntosh right there in that 10 machine. He's going to try to ride up on that back bumper down into the corner. He's going to wisely stay right behind him, kind of almost touch that bumper to nose just a little bit and stay right there, right behind. And that was a tight corner for Johnny as he saw Ty get a little loose there on the exit. We've been a little 2-for-1 caution action there as they say single file down into corner number 3.
Yeah, these cars, they're brand new for a lot of drivers at a track like this. I saw in the race notes earlier today to be careful on the exit of 2, or pretty much just to be careful in the tunnel turn in turn 2, especially going side by side because the car can get very, very just snappy loose all of a sudden. And well, we're seeing these cars become very tight at the exit of the corners. We almost saw that me fine machine become me no fine once again. But yeah, I have a feeling these cars are kind of experiencing that old tight loose scenario that a bunch of the Cup cars used to have back in the day, where they just wouldn't turn, and then you just gave it so much wheel at the exit of the corner that the back end just came around. And well, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw some of that here tonight, as we already saw Ty McIntosh, the pole sitter, I think essentially hit the wall, but it looks like he's coming out okay with it at the end. We saw Johnny Eckert in third place, trailing behind the 2 drivers, get tight at the exit corner. We've already seen on the exit of turn 3, the last shot, we had the wide shot angle. We saw like 5 cars pretty much all do the same thing, just almost smack the outside wall and then just kind of drive to the inside just to avoid it. But it's gonna be a close thingy.
Whoa! As Johnny Eckert makes contact off of 3 right there. And Carlos, just as you were mentioning it, we saw drivers scrape that wall. And I was going to compare it to like that amusement park ride that we see, Carlos. I don't know if you remember it. Maybe it's called the Scrambler, where you sit down and it kind of throws you close to the rail, and then it brings you back. And then it throws you close to the rail, and it brings you back. And it throws you close again. You almost feel like you're going to hit that rail. You come just close enough to touch it, and then it throws you back to the middle of the ride. And I think that's what we're seeing here off of corner number 3. These drivers are getting so close off the exit of the corner that some of these drivers are getting so scared you almost try to overcorrect coming off that corner. And right there, some of those drivers didn't do that and they scraped the wall.
Yeah. So I spoke earlier about how Ty McIntosh, your pole sitter, didn't set up his webcam the one time where we would have used him the most. Guess what? He sent me a message during this race and was like, I got you, fam. He has his webcam on. There, look at that boy. Look at that lad. He's got himself all prepared, ready to go.
And you see Ty McIntosh right there in the second position. we'll see a good onboard ride with him on these two features. You see him on the simulator and inside of his race car right here. He started off in the pole position. Riley Marabello came up and overtook that position. But Ty's done a great job of holding onto that second spot right now, as a lot of the drivers are still trying to feel out the race course here tonight. Come down into corner number 3. We'll see how he takes on corner number 3 right here. Down this one last stretch, going down into that corner. We'll see how he's able to conquer this and see if he's close to that wall on exit, Carlos.
The closer, yeah, you mentioned the closer they get to the back bumper, the less speed there is, or sorry, I should say the less downforce there is to kind of help the second car kind of turn. So you see some of the drivers kind of push up to the outside wall. But Ty McIntosh, let's see how he handles it going to Tron. He's all the way in the back bumper of this Spino machine of Marabello going through the corner. Pretty much about the same, handling pretty much even. And well, the exit of the corner, I gotta say, I think Ty McIntosh was just slightly faster than Marabello, but pretty much not really much of a factor. But the draft is helping him here. Here we go on turn number 2, the tunnel turn. Very tricky. You want to get a good exit of the corner. Marabello kind of messed up. He turned a little too early. You saw him have to adjust it. Looking to the inside of Ty McIntosh is here going into turn 3 because there is no turn 4. And he's going to go side by side here trying to get that race lead once again ever since he smacked the wall.
Yep, and he's thinking about it right there. He's got that nose right on the inside of Riley, but he files right back in there on the front stretch. A wise move out of Ty McIntosh, but Ty better watch out. He has Vincent Isabella. Where did he come from in that 5 machine? Has climbed all the way up through the grid. Has put that 5 machine into contention now at the top here. And Carlos, I was going to ask you as we're counting down the laps here in stage number 1. You know, we saw what I spoke about just a little bit earlier about how the first 2 stages of these races, a little bit of a feeling out process. The drivers tend to get comfortable a little bit, kind of feel out who to work with, kind of feel out the track, strategies, etc., etc. And then you kind of see that kind of pick up towards the end of the race, the heat, the intensity. With the regular season counting down, do you think you're going to see a lot of these drivers try to get these bonus points with these stage wins?
Yes. Yes, and you actually bring up a good point. You may have those drivers that we see in real life in road courses and in Poc-Oh-No, because this track is big enough, that will go down pit road. Well, what am I saying? There's no cautions under stage at the end of stage 3. I was about to say they're going to go pit early. No, that's right. No, they're going to stay out. What are you doing? Yeah, no, there's no cautions.
But I feel like, though, you know, as the regular season's counting down, maybe you're one of those drivers that are right on the cut line. Maybe you're towards maybe the 10th or 11th position, and you're at the top of the grid. You know, you really want to get those bonus points out of the way. It might make the difference between you making the playoffs and not making the playoffs.
The question is this really going to be a big factor for a lot of drivers? Do we know when they necessarily have to pit? Because if they can wait it out, then cool. If they can't, then we'll have a bigger problem here going on. But so far, I like what I'm seeing out of Sam Brochu. He's been kind of staying there consistent with the drivers. He lost a couple spots trying to make a pass at the lead here to start the race, slowly working his way up. And once he gets past Vincent Isabella here for 3rd place, he should be back from where he started. And he's got a pretty fast hot rod. But also, Will, you've noticed the pink cars. You know what that means, right?
Oh yeah.
It's October. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I had to explain to to our commentator last week about what Breast Cancer Awareness Month is because they don't have that over there in the UK. So he wasn't quite understanding why there were so many cars with pink in them. But he figured that out very quickly. As now, well, it's October. It's my favorite month of the year. It's my birthday. It's Halloween. It's spooky season. It's the best time of the year. You know, it's fall. It's starting to get a little cold outside. In Miami, it gets like 1 degree colder. So that's like heaven right there.
I'm with you, Carlos. I'm
Yeah.
just a little further north than you here in Florida, and it's the same thing. We don't really have a winter down here. It basically goes from 95 to around 87 or 88. That's basically our winter season down here.
Yeah, and that's at night.
You're right, exactly. That's true.
Man, you're in Florida. You think about going outside, and you're already sweaty.
That's exactly true. We can go to the beach on Christmas Day down here, which is kind of a bummer, but it also is kind of cool at the same time.
Yeah.
But taking a look at Sam Brochu, you just spoke about him there in the third position right now here at Poc-Oh-No. Counting down the laps here in stage number 1. I believe this might be the last lap of stage number 1 there, Carl. Take a look at that. No, we got about 3 more laps to go.
Yeah, we got
Sam Brochu, through all of that, through all of Nick and Delicato's dominance here so far this season, Sam Brochu does have a win this year, though. He did break Nick and Delicato's streak, and he won at Darlington a few weeks back there, Carlos. So, trying to get that machine back in victory lane here tonight. You see him up there in the 3rd position. I believe he may have rolled off in 5th or 6th, if I'm not mistaken, not too far down the grid. But he's
Sam Brochu started in 3rd.
3rd, there we go. So right back where he started there in Sam Brochu, you mentioned it when we started this broadcast. He faded off just a little bit, lost a couple of positions. Now you see him up in the 3rd position once again. Keep an eye out for him here tonight. One of those drivers that I mentioned to start this broadcast off. He, of course, he won the race at Darlington. At Martinsville, it was kind of just a mosh posh of wrecks and caution. So that race was kind of overlooked as far as results go there, Carlos. Of course, Nick and Delicato picked up the win. I know Nick loves to hear that. But as far as race results go, it's not one of the best races to look back on per se here this season. But here tonight, still Riley Marabello up at the top of the grid. Ty McIntosh right there in the 2nd position. No change at the 1-2. A lot of movement behind those guys, Carlos.
Yeah, a couple of drivers hit the outside wall here on turns number 2. Turn number 2 in Poc-Oh-No is very difficult. It's a corner where you kind of... the way that you handle that corner, how fast you are, really depends on if you actually angled the car correctly enough going into the corner. Like, it's a corner that once you set the wheel before you even get to the corner, you can't adjust it even if you try to put more or less wheel. That's the direction you're going. It's a very tricky corner. Oh man, who was that? Is that Eckert that hit the outside? Eckert, come on, dude, you can't be doing that, man.
They all keep giving that wall a love tap, Carlos, coming off that last corner. We see multiple drivers scraping that wall on the exit of 3.
Eckert is struggling. He has lost 8 positions from where he started, outside the top 10 right now, in 12th. But I wanted to talk about the drivers who have been moving up. The fastest move of the race here so far right now is John DeBarro, who, he was 5 spots up ahead, but now Johnny Eckert is getting past him, so he's now down to 4th. So up 5 spots now. John DeBarro slowly but quickly moving his... Well, no, that doesn't make sense. Slowly but surely moving his way up front and 1 position closer into the top 10. Justin Johnson also up 4 spots. So he's another driver that didn't necessarily get the qualifying position he wanted. By the way, that was the end of the first stage. My bad, I forgot what time it was. So Marabello did win the stage for this one, but also Alexander Schumacher currently trying to get past Isabella. Almost there was contact there. I'm sure Isabella's not going to be happy about that. But that move, he's now up 5 positions. So Alexander Schumacher, remember, he's a free agent out here. He's kind of your biggest move of the race so far. As well as Nick Delicato, he's up 5 spots as well. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, didn't even notice that 4 car creeping up the grid right there. Nick and Delicato is now inside the top 5. You saw him outside. I believe started in the 10th position there in that 4 machine. Wasted no time of climbing back up through the grid. Keep an eye out on that 4 machine of Nick and Delicato to get up to the top. But right now, still Riley Marabello leading the way here on 3 Wide TV. And taking a look at those point standings right now, Carlos, of course, Riley is registered in the 4th position on that table. So you take a look right there on the right-hand corner of your screen if you're watching along with us here on 3 Wide TV. Riley Marabello is right there in that 4th position. So, of course, he's going to pick up bonus points for winning that stage here tonight. And then if he goes on to win this race, he could possibly take a look at that math there. He could leapfrog maybe even Tom Ogle. They could run at Barrett Polhemus right there if he wins stage 2 here tonight. Yeah, doing a little beautiful mind math tricks here. And going into that last Dash for Cash race, could be right there on the heels of Nick and Delicato.
Yeah, well said. Still, I'm still in the mindset of that. It's way too early. It's still too early to really think about points. Just get out there, do what you got to do. But no, you mentioned it. Only 2 races remaining. I still can't believe that. But John DeBarro, one of the bigger movers so far, has already gone down pit road. First driver to go down pit road right now. Wonder if this is going to be a good strategy move for him. 19 laps into this race, splitting it up. It looks like every 20 laps, and maybe might have to run a little bit long that second time. But you know, I like it. As long as there's no caution, this could be a good strategy.
Yeah, good strategy indeed. As you see right now, Riley Marabella is still leading the way. But Ty McIntosh right there in that second position, so no change 1-2. But it looks like Sam Brochu has overtaken Ty for that second spot on the racetrack right now. Sam Brochu's made a move right there. He's trying to work his way up out of the top grid right there. He wants that #1 spot like ludicrous here tonight. But you see Ty McIntosh wants to overtake once again. We have a battle brewing right here, just like
Somebody's wrecking somewhere.
We see that spell brewing.
Oh no!
We see what's happened.
John DeBarro had a big incident. The 61 wrecked exiting pit road. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a replay here, but that was not good. I pulled the camera on turn 1, and all of a sudden there's no cars nearby, but I'm just hearing cars spinning out. Let's take a look at the replay, see what happened. John DeBarro, unfortunate for him. It looked like he had a possibly good strategy going on. Let's see, did he give it too much speed? Oh, whoa. Oh man, what a shame. Unfortunate for that 61 car. No caution did come out, so they're still under green flag conditions. But taking a look, I think this was a combination of wheel spin and the fact that there was like a bump at the exit at the merge point right there that kind of shoved that car to the outside wall. So big shame for the 61 at DeBarro. His night is gonna come to a very, very quick and painful end.
Yeah, and you saw John already fighting that thing on the exit of pit road, as Carlos mentioned. And he tried to get on the gas to overcorrect it, and at that point, that thing is slipping and sliding already from underneath you. That's unfortunate for John right there, trying to get that pit stop out of the way to get back on the racetrack here tonight. But still here on lap 21, it's Riley Marabella still leading the way right now. Seems a bit of separations occurring now between the 4th and 5th place positions right now on the track. As you see right there, that's Nick and Delicato making a move on Ty McIntosh. Nick's running a different paint scheme here tonight. Almost didn't recognize him there in that turquoise machine here tonight. A little reminiscent of the Miami Dolphins colors there, Carlos.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about football right now. I didn't have a good week as a Dolphins fan.
No, you did not.
And also didn't have a good week as a... I also didn't have a good week as a fantasy football fan because I also started Tua.
Ooh, yeah.
Couple drivers going down pit road. Justin Johnson, David Westergreen, Adam Tepe all right now. Oops. Ooh, I hit the wrong button, guys. I apologize.
Taking a look at those pit stops and the green flag run that we still have going on here on lap 22. We're creeping up on the halfway mark already here, Carlos. Only about 20 laps away from that halfway mark. So Riley Marabella leading the way here. But right now we're going to have a reshuffling of the grid. As a few of these drivers are going to head down pit road here under green. I'm going to go ahead and get those strategies out of the way here, Carlos. And I'm trying to judge here. So we're starting to see drivers head down pit road here on lap 23. Probably see the leaders head down in a couple more laps. So we're thinking maybe 25 to 28 laps, you think, on the green flag runs?
I'm not too sure what I'm thinking right now, but Sam Brochu just lost second place to Nick and Delicato, went wide through turns 1 and lost the spot. And Ty McIntosh is there as well in 4th place, but second place now, Nick and Delicato. That man is coming.
Mama, here comes that man, because here comes that Ford machine creeping up on Riley Marabella. This is a different strategy that we're seeing out of the Ford here tonight. Usually that Ford just kind of lurks back, almost like Michael Myers there, and just kind of watches everybody and then pounces at the end, gets that race victory. But here tonight, Carlos, he must know that it is not a long distance race here tonight. He wants to get that Ford machine up in the front position and not have to worry about working his way up through the grid, as we usually see Nick do in these races. As we head down into the corner right now, Riley's got to see that four machine coming in his rear view because he is coming quick, fast, and in a hurry, already up 8 spots here tonight.
Yeah, let's take a look and see just how much time he's been gaining this last little bit. At least the last 5 laps, you can tell that he's been quicker than Marabello every single time. At most by a couple tens, and at least this last time by 7 hundredths of a second. But it's coming down very quickly. Broshu's still there. Can't ignore Broshu. Same thing with Ty McIntosh. But in Delicado, man, he's really running him down. Let's take a look to see if it diminishes this time by again. Oh, McIntosh in the wall. I think he's going to be okay. But we got a couple drivers going down Pear Road. Zach Roethlisberger, my hand, and no, it's just Roethlisberger and my hand going down Pear Road.
Just those 2 drivers right now heading down pit road. And Dallas, my hand's coming off of a win last night there, Carlos. I do believe one of the Virtual Racing Association, one of the modified. So the Shift Esports is dominating that league in the modifieds. We'll see if Shift Esports can pick up another victory here tonight in these next-gen race cars. And right now, Nick and Delicado is trying to do that just for that team here out of Shift Esports. See if he can put that Ford machine into victory lane as he's done a lot of times here, Carlos. I have honestly lost count at how many times he's won here. I know Sam Broshu broke his streak at, I believe it was 5 in a row. He was going for 6, if I'm not mistaken.
No, 4 in a row.
4 in a row. And then Nick just picked right up where he left off and won at the caution-filled race last week.
Yeah, and I think of the 5 races that Delicado has won as he's going side by side here for the race lead through turns 1 and 2. I think only 2 of them have kind of really been his, kind of like the whole way, or I should say the majority of the way. And then the other 3 races, Nick and Delicado was either running outside the top 10 for a good part, or in the top 10, but kind of like seemingly out of contention of the win. And then just out of nowhere, he just comes in at the very end with like a beast of a race car and is able to get that dub. So he's got 5 wins this season of the 6 races run overall so far. And he's taking the lead. He's back to the top point. If he holds on, that's going to be 6. It's going to be 6 wins this season in 7 races. This is. These are like hacking numbers. So we got a lot of drivers down Pear Road. Broshu, McIntosh, Isabella.
And I wish, as we're taking a look at these green flag pit stops take place, I wish we could take a look at that move from Nick, because you saw him try to overtake Riley on the long stretch there. Knew he didn't have enough. He barely fit right back behind that back bumper, Carlos. If you take a look at that, he had to squeeze in between those cars. You see him trying to go to the inside right here, and then he has to, right here, he's going to try to make a pass, realize he doesn't have it. This is where he makes the pass here, but a little bit before this action here, he tries to make the pass, realize he doesn't have it, and has to squeeze back in between those 2 cars. So a good sense of patience and composure that we're seeing out of Nick and Delicado in that Ford machine. We take a look here as he's now back live here at Poc-Oh-No. And now you see the leader heading down pit road. So lap 27 looks to be that window, Carlos.
All right, that's very interesting. I thought initially with DeBarro pitting on lap 20 that he would be short pitting just a little bit, but the rest of the drivers are going to be coming in within the next 3 or so laps. But no, that's not the case. Not sure why DeBarro went down pit road so early. And unfortunately, we're not going to ever find out if it could have worked out for him or not, because he had that issue exiting pit road where he hit that bump, lost control, and ended up going to the outside wall, pretty much destroying his race car. Right now, Johnny Eckert leading right now, or I should say leading the race. Zach Evans in a me-fine machine. How about that for Zach Evans in second? Let's go ahead and show his face here on the stream. There's Zach Evans. Look at that face of concentration, picking his nose there a little bit, biting the booger, and continuing on to race.
Yeah,
see if he goes down pit road this time.
Good look at the driver and the in-car camera right there.
Oh, here we go.
Now see Evan's going to head down pit road. And Carlos here on this first stop, what should the drivers keep in mind, and what should we see here in this first round of pit stops?
Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, right in this first round of pit stops, what should the drivers be taking into account? What should they do down pit road, and what should the folks at home be watching out for here? Unfortunately, don't do what DeBarro did, where he made a mistake exiting
exiting that merge zone or crossing through that merge zone with that bump there. So be careful of the bump. I would just take 4 tires and fuel. Simple. Just don't try to be fancy. It's where you make big mistakes. This is a big track. This is not a track where even if you go out with 1 lap remaining, there's still plenty of time for competitors to catch up to you and get past you. So don't do anything fancy. Stick to the traditional norm. 4 tires, fresh fuel, and you're out of here.
As you see Evans with a good exit of pit road there. A good pit stop out of Evans right there. See that intensity now on his face as he exits pit road. Try to keep that thing clean on exit. And Carlos, we're creeping up to the end of stage number 2 right now. We're going to see that reshuffling of the grid here in just a little bit. Stage 2, excuse me, is going to end on lap 32. But Carlos, I'm doing a bit of math over here. I'm not usually good at math. It was you see the 4 make contact on the exit of 3. Uh-oh, I hope that's not detrimental to his race victory, as that was a little bit of a hard impact on the exit of 3. But back to my human calculator status over here, Carlos. So we just saw the leaders head down pit road on lap 27. Let's just say we run another 27 laps under green flag there. That's going to put us at lap 47. Now this is where it gets really interesting there, Carlos. So those next 27 laps, if we run another green flag run with no cautions, will put us at lap 74, about 6 laps short of the finish. So that's where it gets a little tricky for these drivers. Do you stay out and push it for those 6 laps? Do you try to get a pit stop out of the way early so you can run the end of the race? Or Carlos, do you just ride that thing ride it on E, ride it on those bad tires and see what happens?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe DeBarro did have something going on if he had to pit an extra time. Sorry, let me turn off that a gif of the math. Forgot it was blamed there for so long. I forgot it was there. I was blinded to it. But listen, when you were going through that, I did not expect you to throw it back to me. So I was just writing what you were saying, and I just shut off as that. I just figured you were doing some type of weird Steiner math, and I was just going to leave it at that.
And you don't count for X, which X is equal to caution. So you have to count that variable into that equation as well there, Carlos. So foregoing any cautions here tonight, which we haven't seen on the racetrack just yet, I do believe we'll see at least a couple here down the stretch as we're on the last lap of stage number 2. But if that stays the way we've been here tonight, Carlos, that's going to leave us about 6 laps short on that last green flag run.
Yeah. So I would probably expect this last run to be shorter than usual. So instead of 27 laps like we saw earlier, I would probably cut it less than half if that's the case. Try to split it halfway through, see what these guys can do. As we're going 3 wide here, going into tricky turn number 2. This is not where you want to go 3 wide. They were able to get it kind of figured out, but yeah, that was almost bad.
That was almost very bad there, almost disastrous on the racetrack. But what's not disastrous is that 23 machine, Sam Brochu, is going to take the Stage 2 victory here. Is going to take them across the line. Stage 2 goes to Sam Brochu at the top of the grid right there. Stage 1 winner Riley Marabella right on his tail, head down to the first corner. And that's going to help a lot heading towards the playoffs there for Sam Brochu. While those bonus points are going to start to stack up there, especially with a race victory on the season.
Yeah, well said. Why don't you go ahead and take over for a little bit while I get these graphics updated?
Yeah, Sam Brochu is going to take us down into corner number 2 right here. Got Riley Marabella right on that back tail end of his, coming around that corner number 2 here. It's a little tricky here. The tricky triangle, they say, as Sam Brochu and Riley Marabella are now separating themselves from that 3rd place position car of Nick and Delicato around corner number 3 right now. Still Sam Brochu leading the way here. Gonna throw just a little block on Riley right there, heading off of corner number 3. Riley's itching to get that lead back, and you see him make a move to the inside right there across the start-finish line. Riley's got a huge run now, heading down into the corner, and there he goes. He tries to throw a block on Sam. Things are getting dicey on this first corner as Sam Brochu is going to lose that top of the grid position, and Riley's going to overtake around the corner. But that was a little dicey there at the top of the grid there, Carlos.
We're gonna get a little hot in here, but I want to quickly talk about stage winners. We had Ryan Marbello, Sam Brochu, stage 1 and stage 2 winners respectively, also running in the same order that they finished the 2 stages. But interesting enough, this is the first time each of these drivers have won stages this season. So far, Barrett Paul Hemus has won 3 stages overall, so he's got a lot. Zach Roethlisberger has won 2 stages, and then Matthew Greathouse, Kean Riley, Tom Ogle, Schumacher, Alexander Schumacher, and Alex Buffoli have each won a stage. And now add that for this race, Marbello and Brochu. So a lot of drivers so far this season appear to be winning stages. And we're not getting too many repeat stage winners this season, with the exception of 2 drivers who, well, one of them has done it twice.
Yeah, what do they say there, Carlos? Save your best for last. As these drivers are trying to qualify for that last Dash for Cash race that we have next week at the Indy Road Course. So definitely tune into that one here live on 3Y TV. As right now we're seeing the field start to separate from one another. Getting a little lengthy here on the racetrack. You see a lot of pod racing going on right now. No, this isn't Star Wars. You're starting to see just a few cars race together here on the racetrack. You see a pod of about 3 cars. You see this is a pod of about 6 or 7 cars right here. And with that, Carlos, whereas we're about to creep up to the halfway mark here on lap 35, with these big gaps that you're seeing here on the racetrack, this is really going to narrow down the contenders here at Poc-Oh-No.
Wow, yeah. Look at that. Now this is pod racing.
Just like old Anakin did back in the day here. We're racing in the pod here. You got to watch out for the guys to your right and left. You got to keep that machine on that line to make sure you don't take out anybody. As you see, we're very close and comfy right here at Poc-Oh-No. A lot of these drivers want to work up through that grid. As just mentioned, we're almost to the halfway mark here. It is time to go here in this race, Carlos, as these stages are over with, so all those bonus points are out the window. Now it's just all about getting that W.
Yeah, all opportunities to win those points are over. That thing's done. We're 4 laps away from the halfway mark, and, well, we're 4 laps away from the halfway mark. We've barely been running for like 40 minutes. These guys have been doing a great job. We've been running for 33 minutes so far. At the pace this is going, it looks like it's going to be over in about an hour and 5, an hour and 10 minutes. So that's going to be pretty short overall. A lot of these guys are still going to have a lot of their stamina and race concentration that they had at the beginning of the race. So, just, it's not going to be like a long race, especially like Martinsville, where that one went on and on and on. There's going to be a lot less mental fatigue. So if we do have a late caution, we should be seeing a lot of really good driving from pretty much nearly everyone. This is the biggest pod that's going on so far, which includes the battle for 9th all the way down to 13th. As they went 3 wide going into a tunnel turn. That's not where you want to go 2 wide, period. This is a very difficult corner for... Oh, actually, never mind. We're in turn 3, my bad.
It's a tricky triangle, not only for the drivers, but for us up here in the booth as well there, folks. As you see, they are still close and comfy right here for this position. Seth Ross, oh my goodness, this looks like we might have our first caution from this group right here, because these guys are not given an inch here on the racetrack.
It's been very close so far with this specific pod of drivers, as Dallas Myhan went from being inside the top 10 to now outside the top 10 with a mistake here.
Yeah, Dallas Myhan trying to ride that momentum train into these next-gen cars as he picked up a victory last night in the Modified Series. Trying to jump into a bigger race car, pick up a race win. But as Carlos said, he's outside of the top 10 right now. But we see his teammate of Seth Ross right there in that 25 good shot of him. But right now, folks, we have another battle for the lead taking place. Looks like Rally overtook there. Sam's trying to get it back here. This battle has been going on all night long. Cue up the Lionel Richie, because I don't see this battle ending anytime soon here on the racetrack. These guys have been battling 1-2 the entire race here tonight, Carlos.
Yeah, it's been a great job from both of these drivers. They've been doing just fantastic. I did want to quickly point out, you may have noticed on the ticker, we did take a look at John DeBarro, who crashed out on lap 20, doing his pit road exit mishap. Also, Justin Johnson is also registered as out. He's unfortunately his computer had crashed, and he pretty much got taken from a good top 15 run all the way to finishing second to last so far. And the way it's looking, he'll probably be finishing second to last at worst. So unfortunate for Justin Johnson. Is Dallas Myhan is going down pit road, sliding up those tires. Should be a-okay though, but could be a little risky. We might have to take a look to see if he gets any sort of penalty, speeding wise, I should say. But Myhan going down pit road, that's I don't know. What does your math tell you?
My math over here definitely was not a math genius in school. As you can see, I'm behind a microphone, I'm not behind a calculator. But this is about 7 laps before that window there, Carlos. So you see that maybe he's just trying to get this pit stop out of the way to give himself a longer run here to end this race. So you'll start to see a few of these drivers head down pit road. I'm going to assume here on lap 45, 46, 47, around that range. That'll be our second green flag pit stops that we'll see here tonight. Then after that, Carlos, it's going to be a race down to lap 74. So if you see if Dallas Myhan's maybe just hoping for a caution here on the racetrack. But if we stay green all the way, as mentioned just a short while ago, we're going to be about 6 laps short of that furthest run there under green. So we'll see what drivers want to head down pit road early, get that pit stop out of the way, or what drivers want to push it to the end.
I'm very interested to see what's going on, but you know what I'm also interested in? That fast cat in the in the third position, or number 4, Nick Delicato, already in the back bumper of Brochu, and he might be trying to make a move here for second place and eventually lead here very soon.
This is exactly what Nick Delicato does there in that 4 machine. He lies and waits like a tiger in the jungle. He sees his prey. He pounces just at the right moment. He'll let Riley and Sam have their fun up there at the top. He'll let them battle it out, even bang each other around the racetrack. But when it's time to go, Nick Delicato gets on that gas pedal. You see he's already up 7 spots here tonight. He'll make that move. He'll probably get a little 2-for-1 action there at the top, pass both of them, and never look back. We've seen it time in and time again here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. Carlos, sometimes we think he's out of it, and then once he gets up to the top of the grid, he ends up winning by 3 or 4 seconds. So curious to see what his strategy is here tonight.
Yeah, and don't forget that Nick Delicato in that Darlington race had a really good chance of winning that 5th race in a row, but I have a small issue I need to take care of. So why don't you go ahead and take over here for the broadcast for just a little bit.
Yeah, here just past the halfway mark. As mentioned, Nick Delicato is trying to make a run at the top of the grid. Still, Riley Marabella leading the way here down into the corner. Sam Brochu's right on his tail. We see Ty McIntosh in that 10 machine back into the mix as well. Really a 3-car, 4-car race here at the top of the grid. As just in your point of view there, you saw the 5th place car of Robinson there in that 30 machine. You're starting to see a little separation too out of these top 4 cars here at the top. Ty McIntosh is trying to hold on there, if you will, just like the Alabama Shakes sang back in the day, trying to hold on to that 4th position right there as Nick Delicato is trying to make his way up at the top. No separation between Riley Marabello and Sam Brochu coming off that last corner there to the front stretch here. We're going to cross this line on lap 44. And you see right now, Nick's got that run on the back bumper of Sam Brochu heading down into the first corner. You'll see, folks, when he wants to make that move, when he wants to overtake, he wastes no moves. He wastes no time here on the track. Once he makes his move, they're so calm, cool, and collected. He makes them count on the racetrack. But you see him lose a little bit of speed there on the corner, coming down our first stretch here at Poc-Oh-No, as Riley Marabella is going to lead us down into that corner right now. No separation between these top 3 drivers at the top so far here on lap 44. I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in here tonight on 3Y TV. This is our last Dash for Cash qualifier here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. Next week we head to the road course at Indy, so keep in mind these drivers are going to get their last taste of oval racing before we get out the Gran Turismos, we get out the Forza Horizons, we get out those road courses. We go a little left and right, a little braking action as well, and then we head to Dover and then that last race of the regular season's at Charlotte. So these drivers really want to get a win out of the way here to not have to worry about those chase points there, Carlos. As you see, Riley's still our race leader here on lap 45.
Yeah, now, Will, my question to you is, do you know which configuration for the Indy Road Course that we're going to be running for the Dash or Cash race next week?
Ooh, that is an excellent question there, Carlos.
I think there was a new one recently added with the last update on iRacing. But that'll be pretty interesting. Regardless, Will, it's going to be a fantastic race. Road course racing is very fun, but also very frustrating for a lot of these drivers, especially those that aren't too familiar with the road side of racing and mostly stick to the oval side. So we may be seeing drivers who we may be struggling at tracks like Dover and Poc-Oh-No and Daytona, tracks like this, and then we'll see drivers we'll see those drivers that struggle there and then just dominate in the front row. It'll be a nice shake up to the schedule, and with 2 races remaining after that, or 1 race remaining after that before the playoffs, it could throw a wrench into the whole ordeal.
Yeah, throwing a wrench into the whole ordeal indeed. We're taking a look at past those top 4 drivers that we had keeping an eye out here. As you see Ty McIntosh losing a little bit of momentum. You see down the grid just a little bit. You see Robinson in that 30 machine. Good run from him here tonight. You see DJ Weeks up there in the 6th position. Roethlisberger right there in 7th. A good run from him as well. Hasn't been able to pick up his winning ways just yet here once again during the regular season. But trying to get himself back into victory lane. You see Vincent Isabella right there in the top 10 in the 8th position. Trying to get a good run out of that 5 machine right now on lap 46. Behind him, we mentioned Tom Ogle to start off this broadcast. Really trying to pick up those consistent finishes there in that beautiful Ford Mustang machine here on the track.
White Claw machine. Is that pumpkin spice White Claw that he's got in his car? That sure is.
That might be. I saw the pony in the front. I didn't see what kind of White Claw that was. Not sure that'd be the White Claw I would choose there, Carlos. A pumpkin spice White Claw. Hey. I don't know how that would taste. It can only go either way. It can only be really good or really bad there, Carlos.
I'm willing to give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. If I like it, cool. If I don't, whatever. But hey, it's October, so you know what that means. Pink cars for the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and orange cars for Spooky Season October, and pumpkin spice White Claws.
Definitely, for sure. As you take a look there. At now creeping up into that top 10 is Schumacher right there, but he has a battle for that top 10 position as he has Hess and Seth Ross right there itching at his heels to get inside the top 10. Doing a great job of blocking both lanes there. Seth Ross out of Shift Esports. Definitely been a great teammate throughout the season here tonight, Carlos. And that Shift Esports team, man, they have a busy week in that stable. They go Tuesday to Thursday, I do believe. Not sure if they race a series on Friday. But those drivers stay racing on iRacing. They work together as a team. We saw it last night. Seth Ross had an in real life emergency that he had to take care of. Dallas Myhan wasted no time overtaking for his teammate. They strategized. They knew how to conquer that modified race last night. And you saw Dallas Myhan pick up the victory. But here in this series, the teammate that dominates is Nick Indelicato. But now you see him slide just a little bit down into the 3rd position. Saw him right there. You see we're running up onto, I believe this is lap cars right here, Carlos?
The 22. That's a 22. Wait, no. Yeah, David Westergreen. Not quite sure what happened to David. He's usually up front running pretty well. Currently finding himself 1 lap down in the black and purple Caterpillar machine. So I gotta say I'm a little shocked to see him currently in 22nd, but oh hey, remember he did go down pit road already. Still shouldn't have been enough to put him a lap down, but maybe with the drivers here in the lead lap might be able to kind of push him to drive a little bit faster, and maybe once all the drivers do a complete green flag pit stop cycle, it should kind of at the end help him get up closer towards the finish.
And you see those leaders are starting to just stay together up there in that single file line up at the top of the grid. And Carlos, as we're watching these leaders run around the track, you're seeing Robinson there in that 30, kind of closing the gap here as these laps are ticking by. You see Ty McIntosh as well. Those 2 drivers are really the only drivers that are still, I'd say, in the mix per se. They're about 2 seconds off the pace. But after Ty McIntosh, it drops down to DJ Weeks there in that 97 machine, about 7 seconds off the pace. So at this pace of race, about 30 laps to go, I don't want to say the race is over for those guys down in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th position, especially Schumacher there, about 10 seconds off the pace. But it's really about that time to find you a buddy on the track, to find you a drafting partner, and try to hit these lines consistently. Try to work your way up to the top of the grid because, Carlos, this race is flying by, and before you know it, we'll have about 10, 15 laps to go.
Well, we already have, if I can do my quick maths correctly, 30 laps to go. Turn that off. I didn't turn it off. I hit something else, but yeah. Look, the first two stages zoom by like that. There hasn't been a single caution in this race. No wreck. Well, okay. Well, we had an incident with the driver exiting pit road. No caution came out, so no slowdowns, nothing like that. All these drivers have been running very, very clean, consistent, and it seems like the meeting that the race officials had with the drivers before tonight's race has certainly helped them out, because even if we have a couple cautions here and there towards the end of the race, it's still going to be a drastic improvement in the quality of racing that these drivers are providing compared to the just off week that they had last week at Martinsville, where it seemed like we couldn't go more than 3 laps without there being some sort of incident. And you know, there was a breakdown of all the cautions that came out by the officials, and it seemed like the majority of them, of course, were self spins, but then the middle of those type of 3 incidents that occurred were mostly just racing incidents. With the cars kind of behaving strangely for a lot of these drivers, remember this is a brand new race car for a lot of them, it kind of made sense for the drivers to kind of just not quite figure it out at the beginning. So it's a little close there between the 25 of Seth Ross and the number 09 of Alexander Schumacher. But you know, that was last week. This is this week. Drastic improvement of what these guys are running. And I gotta say, I'm sure the officials are happy with what they are seeing here tonight.
Yeah, definitely a clean race here so far. As Carlos just mentioned, no cautions yet here in this race here on lap 52. Right now, still Riley Marabello and Sam Brochu are leading things here tonight. Nick and Delicato, of course, in that Ford machine down there in the 3rd spot. Trying to put his name in the mix, as well as we see that Ford machine has won essentially every race so far this season, with the exception of Sam Brochu breaking his streak at 4 races in a row just a few weeks ago. Even picked up that win last week, Carlos, that caution-filled race. But we see him, he's got that nose glued to the back of Sam Brochu right there, trying to just keep it calm, cool, and collected. Doesn't want to make a move just yet, doesn't want to waste any energy per se. But we're seeing it here, Carlos. We thought that second pit window was going to be on lap 47. Nobody is headed down pit road here just yet, so maybe they're stretching that second window out just enough to where they can make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, and I'm over here pulling up the last couple laps between these top 3 drivers. Marabello kind of being consistent. Of course, he is the race leader right now. Delicato kind of up and down, but it seems like when he is faster than Brochu and Marabello, he is faster by a significant difference. So in Delicato, he's got the speed, and as we saw last time, is we got a couple drivers going down pit road. We saw last time he was cautious, he was careful, and he was confident in his move, and it worked out for him when he made that move to take the lead before going through a pit stop cycle. So it'll be interesting to see if he can make that move before the pit stop cycle, and if he does, can he hold on to that lead once that is over. So let's go over to 3-Way TV Multicam as we take a look at some of these drivers going down pit road, including Ty McIntosh, Vincent Isabella, Robinson, Ogo, Ross, Hess, Warren, Stromberg. My hand has been moving up slowly now since he's gone down pit road. And number 29 machine, Dallas, is already up to 11th, as my hand is going to possibly get back into the top 10. Here we got Sam Brochu, Nick and Delicato going down pit road right now. Looks like Brochu may have just slightly locked up his tires, just slightly going down into pit lane. Shouldn't be an issue, but of course we'll keep an eye out in case it does get a speeding penalty, which, you know, it's still, you know, pretty weird, but yeah.
And Carlos, back on our beautiful Mind vibe here. You know, with these drivers heading down pit road here, that closes that gap that we talked about earlier in the broadcast of those 6 laps, of these drivers being short 6 laps on that last run. You saw the drivers head down pit road around lap 53, 54. It's about 6 laps of difference what we calculated there. So that is that 6 laps that we were talking about. So if everything stays the way it's going here, Carlos, these drivers will make it to lap 80 there on that last round of pit stops. But I'm curious to see how this grid will reshuffle here under green. Who's going to be the race leader when everything settles here, Carlos, with about 20 laps to go, I believe, after that reshuffle takes place? Is it still going to be Riley Marabello and Sam Brochu at the top of the grid, or will we have a new race leader here tonight?
I have a feeling based on how it's already gone, I do think Marabello, Brochu are going to be able to quickly continue to hold on to the lead as Evans is staying out. He's going to be your race leader. Hasn't crossed the start finish line to actually get the lap lead, but he is your current race leader right now as we go on over. There's the man. Look at this guy, concentrated face going into turns 1 and 2. That's the face of a man who knows he is leading the race because of a pit stop cycle. So he's going to be going down pit road here very soon, but congratulations to Zach Evan and the Me Fine machine. Right now his Me Fine machine is still Me Fine and not Me No Fine. So glad to see him still doing well out here tonight. Zach is a driver who has had a lot of tough luck, and my dogs agree with that. A lot of tough luck recently on the racetrack, both in here and in other places. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what's going on. As why don't you go ahead and take over quickly, as I got to take care of a small issue.
Yeah, as you see, Evan's going to head down pit road here. He pushed that thing to the max. He's going to relinquish that lead there at the top of the grid as we've hit the quarter mark here, ladies and gentlemen. 25 laps to go here from Poc-Oh-No here in the Poc-Oh-No 200 here. This is the last Dash for Cash qualifying race here in DSCR. After this, we head to the Indianapolis road course next week. So these drivers are going to get used to making a lot of turns, a lot of tricky passes here tonight, and even more next week as we head to our road course race there. We're heading towards the end of the regular season here in DSCR. Has been Nick Indelicato's regular season so far, but we've seen what a Simulator 4 machine has done with a lot of regular season wins. They don't really matter in the playoffs. If you carry that momentum into the playoffs, you can get a couple of race wins. Sure, you can get a championship out of the way there. But we've seen it in real life, folks. Sometimes winning a bunch in the regular season doesn't really matter come playoff time. So Nick Indelicato trying to ride that momentum throughout this season. Right now, it's Sam Brochu leading the way, though, in that 23 machine. Right now at the top of the grid, Nick Indelicato is right there as well. You see, Robinson's done a great job with that pit stop to work on his position there on the grid, now up to third.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Sam Brochu did hold on to the lead after he went through pit stops, but I'm a little surprised that Marabello had dropped so much, although I guess the writing was on the wall when he was already kind of separated by a bit when I was talking about it last time. But still, only 1.5 seconds behind your race leader, Sam Brochu. Is not too far away. 23 laps. This race has gone by very quickly, but that's still, plenty of time for some of these drivers to make a mistake or put in some very consistent laps and be able to stretch that gap even further. But you can already tell, since I started talking, it was 1.5 seconds behind. He's already 1 3/10 of a second behind your race leader, so he's slowly improving over Brochu. As hey, guess what? Indelicato is in second. And he's trying to go. Well, right now it'll be 2 in a row for him. But hey, Delicato, if he gets this win again, that'll be 6 wins in 7 races.
Yeah, quite a regular season it has been for that Ford machine. We see that breast cancer awareness number 23 machine of Sam Brochu up at the top of the grid right now. Carlos has seen a bit of separation between him and Nick Indelicato in that 4. But we've seen what that Ford machine can do, even with a bit of separation on the racetrack. You see him riding that tail of Sam Brochu, even though they weren't at the top of the grid. Nick has been glued to that back bumper. Not so far right now with 22 laps to go. He's got Robinson in that 30 machine behind him. A lot of cars behind Nick Indelicato that want to overtake for that second spot. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you finish in the top 4 here tonight, you qualify for that Dash for Cash race next week, brought to you by Manny Reyes. You qualify for that at the Indy Road Course next week, so even though you might not finish on the podium, finishing 4th here tonight is still a great thing there, Carlos.
Hang on. We have a small development, and I'm not sure if you're hearing it as I am. Sam Brochu is shutting off his engine. Caution is out. Never mind. There's an incident somewhere. Caution is out. Whatever I was going to say is irrelevant, as it looks like Andrew Hess is wrecked on the racetrack. Let's go ahead and pull up a replay, see what happened.
Yeah, our first caution of the night here at Poc-Oh-No, and you're seeing a big. Okay, that's a little bit of an entanglement down into the corner there. It looks like Schumacher there in that 09 and Hess in that 54. Let's take another look at that, Carlos. I'm not sure what may have occurred there heading down the corner. You see Hess is going to ride that top side of the corner, and the 09 is just right there. I'm not sure if the 54 spotter let him know that he had somebody to the inside. It just looks like a case of just running out of room on the racetrack. Didn't look anything malicious there. Didn't look like anything purposeful. It just looked like maybe the 54 spotter left him hanging there. Didn't let him know the 09 was on the inside. 09 just held his line throughout the corner, and that's what happens there sometimes, Carlos.
Yeah, we saw the 09 kind of blinking a little before the entry of the corner, but that probably had nothing to do with the situation. If I was to chalk it down, if I was to be race control, maybe I would have put that one as a racing incident. But you know, I'm glad I'm not in race control. I don't want to be the one kind of making that choice. I got thoughts in my head, but yeah, I'm just a commentator / producer. I don't really want to go ahead and you know, say something that'll get these guys to not like me any more than they already do. But
oh no, everybody loves you there, Carlos. I don't know.
Well, what I was trying to say before, Sam Brochu was shutting off his engine entering the corners. He was cutting off. It seemed like he was actually fully shutting off, not just hitting the clutch throughout the corners. So my question is, would they have made it through the end? But now that doesn't really seem to matter because of the fact that caution is out. Everybody goes down pit road, and well, Will, what does your math tell you?
Looking at that math, with 20 laps to go here, trying to see who's going to take that race victory here tonight. And maybe, Carlos, I believe, as we see the note, we're heading down pit road right now.
Everyone's going down.
On lap 20 laps to go. And it looks like that's some members of that Shift Esports team heading down pit road. And I believe you're catching up with one of those guys right now on the radio. That's Nick Indelicato himself. We'll see if we can't get him on the radio there, Carlos.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hey Nick, how's everything going so far? Dude, you were in second once again before a caution came out. What do you have to do to prevent caution from coming out when you're in second?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just unlucky. I don't know where I'm gonna come out here on this stop. I think I lost a couple spots. Yeah, just I don't know. I wouldn't say I was getting blocked, but they had really good teammate work there up front, so I was kind of stuck in third, and then in second there after that green flag pit stop, which I slid my box a little, so that lost me some time. But I just took 4 tires here. That's the last set, and hopefully we can get track position here at the end.
Yeah. Well, Nick, you're trying to go for your second win in a row. You won Martinsville last week. Before that, you ended up finishing in the top 5 at Darlington, and then before that, you won 4 races in a row to start the season. What do you think your chances are of getting that victory here once again, getting a 6th win in 7 races? And, well, just what do you think you have for the rest of these drivers?
Yeah, it's going to be hard. That first run, I think on the initial start, I started 11th or whatever it may be and fell back to 14th and then drove back up to 2nd. And then I think the lead for about a lap. So it's going to be hard. We only have about 15 to go here, 16 to go here on the restart. There's a lot of guys that stayed out. So hopefully we don't get caught up in a wreck here. That's my biggest fear. So I'm going to play it safe and then hopefully be there at the end.
All right. Well, we wish you good luck, Nick. Take it easy and don't make any mistakes that you are going to regret in the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Well, we appreciate Nick Indelicato taking the time with us there, Carlos. And as mentioned, he's trying to go for his 6th win in 7 races here. But the guy who broke that streak, Sam Brochu's right there in the mix as well. Actually, with this reshuffle, Sam's going to be ahead of Nick Indelicato. You see Nick Indelicato is going to be about 3 positions off of Sam Brochu right there. These drivers are going to have to work through those mix of drivers to get back up at the top of the grid. And right now, with 18 laps to go, we have a new leader on the racetrack there, Carlos. And that's DJ Weeks there in that 97 machine.
Yeah, not only that, but look at your stage winner, stage one, or Sam Brochu, your stage two winner, currently in 10th. Shows him ninth, but once he gets filled up, he'll be in 10th. And well, where's your stage one winner? He's not in the top 20 right now. He's a bit further back. So the question is, now that the stage winners have been kind of shuffled out towards the back, is it going to be Weeks, Roethlisberger, Isabella, Ugo, Buffoli, Stromberg, Eckert, Warren? Who can take these wins? Who can take this win here tonight at the Tricky Triangle here in Poc-Oh-No, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, one of those names that really stands out for me there, Carlos, is a name that we mentioned to start off this broadcast, and that's Tom Ogle. Really come out of nowhere here at the end of this race. Is now up into the 4th position. Vincent Isabella's had a great run also, and that 5 machine has kept that machine clean. Just a little bit of an incident we saw earlier, but nothing that brought out a caution. But that 5 machine's now got himself inside the top 5. And remember, folks, the top 4 drivers that finish here tonight, whether you come home with a race victory or not, you qualify for our last Dash for Cash race next week at the Indianapolis Road Course. But here we go, folks. The pace lights are off of the pace car. We're about to go green flag racing here for the first time at Poc-Oh-No after we had our first caution of the night between Schumacher and Andrew Hess. It's going to be DJ Weeks in that 97. Is going to take us to the green flag. And here we go. Roethlisberger's to the outside, DJ Weeks to the inside. And here we go. The green flag is in the air. And that is a big restart for that 97. It's going to take us down to the first corner.
What a fantastic restart here for the number 97 of DJ Weeks. Cleared with all the sense of the words, going into turns 1 right now. No problem, kind of straddling that line right there, going to the inside to the exit of the corner. Gonna get a beautiful exit as well towards the kind of, is this called the backstretch or the short? I think this is called the backstretch before we go to the short shoot. But
it's one of the long
drive.
stretches. There we go.
For sure, yeah. Going into the tunnel turn here in turn number 2. Beautiful corner, very difficult to master, very fast, but also easy to get involved in an incident. So far, all these drivers are doing a fantastic job of kind of avoiding an issue as we're going down here into turn 3. And remember, there is no turn 4. This is a triangle we're racing at. So off at the exit of the corner, DJ Weeks, so far with 17 laps to go already, this one lap we've run under green flag conditions since the restart, he's starting to look like as if he may have what it takes. But my question is, what type of speed does he have in the long run?
Yeah, it's a single file race so far right there. From the top of the grid down as DJ Weeks in that 97. As mentioned, Carlos, we'll see what kind of speed he has here on this long run. About 15, we're run about 17, 18 laps here to end this thing out here from the drop of the green flag. We already see Nick and Delicato trying to make a move up there to the top. Sam Brochu's already gained a lot of positions as well. He's got a battle on his hands right there. He's got Johnny Eckert to the inside. You're going to see a big pack of cars right there in the mix. If anything happens in that mix of drivers, it could be disastrous for some of these guys that have been leading this race throughout tonight's proceedings. But right now, they're really kind of clogging the way for those guys of Sam Brochu. You know, you see Nick and Delicato up there as well. That's really having a tough time of working through those mix of drivers. So really a good reshuffling of the grid here tonight, Carlos, because we might have a guy win here tonight that we didn't really call out at all. As it looks like we have Riley Marabello down pit lane. He's going to come off of that pit road right in just a little bit. But that 97 is checking out here just like you would check out of a Marriott hotel. He's got his bag packed. He's ready for that Dash for Cash race next week at the road course.
Yeah, right now, if the race was to finish right now, DJ Weeks would be one of your Dash for Cash drivers. Zach Roethlisberger, Tom Ogle, Vincent Isabella would be your other final 4 participants. Alex Buffoli and Johnny Eckert would be your alternatives should that need to happen, but thankfully it hasn't. But I gotta say, DJ Weeks pulling off to 1.5 second lead, or 1.2 second lead, as there's a green car all the way in the back to just pancake that outside wall. Can't quite see who that is. That might be Cody McCorkle. No, I'm not quite sure who that is, but that was a hard hit for that driver. But yeah, DJ Weeks pulling away very quickly. It's kind of staying still right now, but the fact that he pulled away to such a distance very early on is going to be very beneficial to him in the long run. What are you seeing over there?
Yeah, got a little dicey there coming off the exit of the corner there, Carlos. I'm starting to see it just a little bit. Keeping an eye out on some of these packs coming off the corner. Some of these drivers are getting a little bit sketchy off of the exit of these corners. You'll see it here on the exit of corner number 3. If all the drivers can keep it clean, a lot of those names that we've called out here tonight are in those mix of drivers. So if anything, one little thing happens, one of these drivers' nights could end, and just like that, with about 14 laps to go. And you see right there, Carlos, coming off at 3, you see a lot of drivers kind of peel way out of the mix there.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, as you know, towards the middle here on the back for 5th place and back, we're starting to see these drivers starting to kind of move their way up as Isabella almost made contact with the 08 machine there of Alex Pafoli. If there's gonna be an issue here, this is gonna be the place where it's probably gonna happen. But with 13 laps to go, and the drivers starting to get a little more impatient with each other and with the positions that they're at, this is pretty much like the nesting ground as to where any big incident could happen.
And as you mentioned, Carlos, it is spooky season as we're in the month of October here. And DJ Weeks has said to those guys behind him, you all go down the dark, scary road with all the witches, all the goblins. It's all right. I'm going to go down this nice, bright path all by myself. I'm going to get through these woods. Y'all can go down this scary path and battle it out, because I'm going to take this race win here in this 97 machine, as now he almost has a 2-second lead here on the racetrack. We were worried about this run here with about 18 laps to go, what kind of speed he would have. It's getting even more sketchy behind him, and he's starting to check out here, although those lap times are starting to tick down here. You see Roethlisberger and a lap ago. Not so, just a little bit of a change there, but DJ Weeks is really staying consistent at the top of the grid.
Well, right now, we've already seen the last couple laps. DJ Weeks, very fast overall. He's actually been faster than Roethlisberger for all of the 5 last laps. But Eckert, you know, you can't hold them back. He may be faster than Weeks if he can get past Roethlisberger. But let's take a look at what happened here on lap 69. Wow, that's very nice. Look at that. Roethlisberger and Eckert were both able to run faster lap times than Weeks. So, hey, maybe Weeks might be starting to show the signs of slowing down a little. Or maybe it could have just been a fluke, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with the next couple laps. As well, next time by, he's got a couple drivers almost hitting the outside wall. Next time by will be 10 to go. And, well, this race is getting closer and closer to finishing.
Yeah, this race has flown by here on 3Y TV. Want to appreciate everybody for tuning in here tonight to 3Y TV. If you haven't gotten enough of your iRacing fix, you can catch 3Y TV live tomorrow night in the Oscar series. You'll see a lot of these drivers race in that series as well, Carlos. But I can't forget to mention those wonderful sponsors here tonight, Carlos. One of which we thought was a medical supply company to start the season.
You keep saying that. I was the one that thought it was that. Thanks. You don't have to throw yourself under the bus as well. But yeah, no, thank our sponsors, please.
Yeah, of course. Manny Ray's up there. Of course, with all your cemetery landscaping needs, definitely go hit them up. They're a wonderful sponsor here in DSCR, as well as Pro Air, which we thought was an AC company to start the season. They're actually a medical supply company, so definitely a big shout out to Pro Air as well here. They make all of this possible here. They make the broadcast possible. They make the racing possible here. The DSCR, the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. So special shout out to those wonderful sponsors we have in this series here tonight. But DJ Weeks, I believe he's an admin here in this league, so trying to get a little home cooking here at Poc-Oh-No.
We have a development here going on. I told you Johnny Eckert may have been faster than Roethlisberger. If he can get past him, he could have been chasing down Weeks. Well, guess what? He got past Roethlisberger, and actually McIntosh is actually trying to challenge Roethlisberger for that 3rd place spot as well. But Johnny Eckert, he is cutting down that lead. It used to be nearly a second and a half. Now with 9 laps to go, it's 0.8 of a second between DJ Weeks, your race leader, and Johnny Eckert in 2nd place. And Johnny's been skirting that line, the fine line of hitting the outside wall and damaging his car. And we saw earlier in the race, he did do that. He hit the outside wall pretty significantly. Of course, with this new car, the way it's set up, the whatever damage you get kind of does just the material of the car kind of just pushes it back in position if it isn't hard enough. But on the downside, with the last update iRacing added, it did change the way the cars take on damage. Instead of it being as, oh, did you hit it this hard? Well, then you have this much damage. It's now a progressive type of accumulating damage model where if you hit the wall 5 or so times, it's going to start damaging the area of the car it gets hit until it eventually breaks and fails. And so we already saw Eckert hit the wall a couple times. So his cars are maybe a little starting to wear down a little more than Weeks, and well, this time by was perfectly fine. But if he keeps on skirting it close to the outside line and keeps on hitting the wall, we may have an issue with that number 90 in a possible suspension issue. But so far, Eckert fast laps, and if I take a look at the last couple of laps, you're going to be seeing 0.4 of a second on lap 71. We saw lap 69. He did a 2.5 tenths of a second faster than Weeks, and since then it's always been a tenth of a second or more. And in the last 2 laps, it's been 0.4 of a second. So he's been definitely outpacing him. He's already in the back bumper. He's gonna be making his move, Will.
Yeah, as you're going across that start-finish line here, there goes Johnny Eckert to the inside here on this first corner. He has that huge run. He's going to use that side draft to his advantage as they're going to go deep inside the corner right here. As Carlos was just mentioning, Johnny is taking the very, very inside lane here, almost tapping the yellow line with his tires as we go down the first stretch here at Poc-Oh-No. Johnny's now leading the race down into the corner. But DJ Weeks right there behind him. He's not going to give up just yet. They're in that 97 machine. We have a 2-car battle ensuing here at the top of the grid right now as we're down the last stretch here at Poc-Oh-No, down into corner number 3. Johnny Eckert, they're in that 90 machine. He's trying to get a win here this season. Trying to go around the last corner. Still holding on to that lead here. We're going to cross this line, Carlos, with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, 6 laps. Wow, excuse me. I couldn't English there for a second. But 6 laps to go here. 80 lap race overall. Remember, this one fairly short compared to the other races that we've been doing, and especially fairly short compared to last week at Martinsville. But 1 caution so far for an incident. The rest of the time been green flag racing. These guys have been running fast, consistent laps. And with 6 laps to go, I would not be surprised if they went the rest of this way without a caution. So fast racing by everybody here, and it looks like we'll all be home in time for dinner.
There we go. Especially here tonight, we only have 1 caution on the racetrack, but DJ Weeks better watch out in that 97. Here comes Ty McIntosh to the inside. Ty McIntosh has worked himself back into the mix here. That 10 machine's going to go to the inside of DJ Weeks. There's a 97 seeming to lose just a little bit of speed here right now as this run comes to an end with 6 laps to go. Nick Delicato is going to use that momentum right there of Ty McIntosh to get around DJ Weeks as well. Nick Delicato is trying to get himself into the mix there as he was creeping like TLC inside that top 5. But now we see DJ Weeks to the outside. You're seeing a battle ensuing. DJ Weeks in that 97 goes way topside on the corner. He's going to lose a lot of positions on the racetrack as DJ Weeks is going to go down to about the 5th position there, maybe more right now, as Nick Delicato is going to try to make a move on Ty McIntosh. Johnny Eckert sees all of this happening behind him. He's trying to get a hold onto that top position right now, Carlos, and things are heating up here with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, Johnny Eckert was down there doing what all the racers like to do, called draft dodging, by dodging the draft, driving all the way down to the inside line and kind of forcing the competitors behind you to either follow you all the way down to the inside of the track or just hold your line. So we may see him do it. Yeah, you see he's staying away from the outside wall. He's trying to do what a lot of drivers do, try to break that draft, prevent the drivers behind them from being able to get that advantage from the lead car, kind of breaking up the air and just catching up. But yeah, we talk about Weeks. He went from leading this race to kind of dropping down into 4th, and possibly even worse as Seth Ross is right in his back bumper. But yeah, Johnny Eckert, Ty McIntosh, Nick Delicato, your top 3. Weeks in 4th, but actually Rawls in 4th now as he's side by side going down into the tunnel turn. And my question to you is, Johnny Eckert's fast, but is Nick Delicato or Ty McIntosh faster?
We're going to see one heck of a finish here tonight, Carlos. As you mentioned, Johnny Eckert's trying to use that draft dodging strategy here towards the end of the race as we come off of corner number 3 to that front stretch. Johnny Eckert's going to take him to the line here with 3 laps to go. Throw up those 3s. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt. As you see, Johnny's going to try to use that strategy once again. Ty McIntosh, though, has got a bit of a run heading down to this first corner. Thinking Delicato and that Ford machine's right behind him. And there goes Ty McIntosh. He's right on that back bumper of Johnny Eckert. Is it going to be enough, folks? We have 3 cars that want to take home this race victory here tonight. Also, that 4th car in the mix. Seth Ross is trying to qualify for that last Dash for Cash race of the season. Right there, trying to hold on, trying to keep DJ Weeks out of the mix there Although DJ Weeks has slid down outside of the top 5 right now. That top 3 still battling out for the race victory as we come around the corner here. So Johnny Eckert, our race leader on the track. You get a good look of Ty McIntosh right there in your right-hand corner of your screen. See if Ty has anything for that 90 machine here tonight, Carlos, as we have a 3-car battle for the race win.
Yeah, Ty McIntosh, as I mentioned earlier, got the pole, started this race in first place, led a lap, and then started dropping it back just slowly. He told him he didn't have his camera set up to begin the race, so he didn't have a camera angle on him. That's fixed now. There's his face as he's trying to contend the lead, going to the outside here of the number 90 of Johnny Eckert, going side by side into turns 1 and 2, or turns 1, I should say.
Ooh, Carlos, I am leaning with Ty right now in my chair. I'm starting to feel these moves of these race car drivers right now with 2 laps to go. I am bobbing and weaving with these guys, trying to get around the race leader. Right now, they're door to door down into the corner right now. Carlos, Ty McIntosh and Johnny Eckert are battling out for the race lead. Nick Delicato loves to see it there in that Ford machine. If anything goes wrong, he'll pounce. But here comes Seth Ross into the mix as well in that 25. This thing is getting crazy with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, this is becoming a 4, even 5-car battle here for the win. As we're going to cross, this is going to be the last lap here going into start-finish line. Last lap, this is going to be the final 3 chances for all these drivers to get the win. As Ty McIntosh, currently your race leader, just got past Johnny Eckert. Johnny Eckert is possibly in the worst position right now to win this race, but second place, don't look now, Nick Delicato, Mr. 5-time race winner, looking to make it 6th time this season. He's up in second, doesn't appear to be challenged by Johnny Eckert, who's trying to get right behind the number 4, but Ty McIntosh is a pretty good lead, and he may find himself as the race winner.
Yeah, Ty McIntosh going to take us down into the corner as our race leader right now. Big battle ensuing between Johnny Eckert and Nick Delicato behind him. Ty McIntosh has got to see that behind him right now. He's going to try to hold on. Can't celebrate too quickly as we're down to the last corner. Sees Nick Delicato, Johnny Eckert battling out for that 2nd spot. It might not be enough for those guys as Ty McIntosh is going to come off the exit of the last corner. It looks like he's going to take home the win here at Poc-Oh-No. Ty McIntosh in that 10 machine wins here in our last Dash for Cash race. What a win it was for Ty McIntosh in that 10 machine as Nick Delicato comes home 2nd, Seth Ross in 3rd, and Johnny Eckert in 4th for our last Dash for Cash racers right there. But what an illuminous celebration for Ty McIntosh down there in the right-hand corner of your screen. Really wanted that victory here tonight, and you see that ferocity and that intensity of that 10 machine. He worked for it here tonight, Carlos.
He did a fantastic job. I want to congratulate Ty McIntosh on getting his first win of the season, first win in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing Cup Series. Definitely going to be able to cement his name in history here for this brand new league. Got the win, and for the first time in Thruway TV history, we're actually able to get a live video feed of an actual race winner. So that was also pretty interesting on our end. But yeah, Ty McIntosh was there at the end. So was Nick Delicato, Seth Ross, Johnny Eckert, Schumacher, all those drivers, including Robinson as well. All of them had a chance of winning this race here with the last couple corners. But once again, congratulations to Ty McIntosh as we're going to watch him kind of tear down that rubber and celebrate his victory here. First one of the season, 3rd winner this year, as it's going to join Sam Brochu and Nick Delicato as the only 3 winners here in 7 races.
Yeah, as he burn down those Goodyear Eagles here on the front stretch of Poc-Oh-No. What a race win it was for Ty McIntosh in that 10 machine. Really had to battle it out there towards the end. May have been out of the mix there with about 15-20 laps to go. Kept himself in the mix though at the top of that grid. Made the passes that he needed to make. Overtook Johnny Eckert there with a awesome race move there. And once he did, the chaos really ensued behind him. There was no battle for the lead coming off that last corner. Ty was already celebrating going into the corner, and celebrating he is doing here tonight, Carlos, as he has all but locked himself into those playoffs. Comes home with a huge win here tonight. Qualifies for that last Dash for Cash here as well for that 10 machine. But Carlos, go ahead and break down those official race results here tonight in the Poc-Oh-No 200.
Yeah, that's right here for the Poc-Oh-No 200. Ty McIntosh getting his first win of the season. So he's still burning it down. That man is trying to destroy whatever good years left of his good years. Oh, there goes his engine. Unfortunately, that engine just blooded inside of his car right now. But Ty McIntosh got the win. Congratulations to that man. Nick and Delicato finishing second. Just once again, close to getting that victory, but just not quite there yet. Seth Ross in third. Johnny Eckert finished in fourth. Alexander Schumacher fifth. And Josh Robinson in sixth. All those drivers each had a chance of possibly winning this race within one lap. But you know, it ended up coming down to Ty McIntosh. Sam Brochu ended up finishing in 8th. He won a stage. That is my hand in 9th. Zach Roethlisberger finishing in 10th. That's your top 10 here for the Poc-Oh-No 200. And 11th is Tom Ogle. Alex Buffoli 12th. Zach Evans. Hey, the Meat Fight Machine. I gotta say, nice, respectable finish. No issues on his end. Even led a lap. Congratulations, Zach Evans. This is the type of consistent finish he needs. And I'm hoping that he's happy with his results, because I definitely am happy with his with the work he's been putting in to improve himself. Kevin Stromberg finishing in 14th. Davis Warren 15th. Jordan Tarbell 16th. Cody McCorkle in 17th. David Westergreen in 18th, and if I pull it up just slightly so I can see the rest of the finishers, Adam Tepe 19th, and Vincent Isabella in 20th. And I forgot there's only 25 drivers here tonight, so I'll just finish it the rest for you. 21st, Rich Allen, Ryder Marbello in 22nd, Andrew Hess, who we saw get involved in that one caution that came out, finishing 23rd. Justin Johnson, unfortunately, was running decent tonight. Before he had a hardware computer crash that took him out of the race. And then of course we saw John DeBarro getting involved on lap number 20, exiting pit road with that just weird bump that's on the merging point of the track that just shoved his car just slightly sideways and just went head first into the outside wall, taking his car out, finishing 61 laps down. And unfortunately for John, sure, he definitely had a lot more to give out there here for the track. But I'm going to go ahead and step away as well. I'm going to let you go ahead and talk to the top 3 finishers and then eventually sign us off here for tonight.
Yeah, as we're getting ready to talk to those top 3 drivers here, we'll start with our third place finisher here, Seth Ross out of Shift Esports. And Seth, you're coming off a great run last night in the modified series, although you weren't able to finish that race. You carried that momentum and that confidence into tonight's race. It was a battle there, I would say, for the last 20-25 laps of this race. A sleeper race, you could say, with only one caution throughout tonight's race. Take us through your point of view here, and man, coming home with a third place finish here, you qualify for that last Dash for Cash race. You'll be feeling pretty good, although you didn't win the race here tonight.
Yeah, first and foremost, awesome job by Tyler, getting his first win here. Awesome job by Nick, all Shift Esports. Dallas didn't get a top 9th place finish of top 10. But yeah, the race is awesome. I mean, that was, you know, we were set up with a interesting call there on lap 60, I think it was, or whatever that last yellow came out.
Right.
It was an interesting call because we already pitted kind of 6 laps before, so but it paid off. We were scooting through the field there. It was awesome. Like the teamwork, it was great. The communication was top notch. Gonna be more proud as a team owner. Gonna be more proud as a driver. Working with these guys, so that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to calculate up here, almost like Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind, those pit windows of what you guys had on the track. How important, because we were trying to think of some of those drivers kind of pushing that window a little bit, that second round of pit stops. Was that sort of a team strategy there? Because we calculated there was about 6 laps you guys had left there on that last run. Was that sort of a strategy to stay out as long as you could to get that out of the way? Or was that last caution just like a lifesaver there at the end of the race?
Yeah, I think the struggle was the undercut was so powerful, but you also didn't want to undercut and not have enough fuel. So you kind of had to really mash the number up. I felt pretty confident in the car, or in finishing a good spot if the race went green, but that yellow kind of just reset the field and gave us another shot there. This track was very, very draft happy. It was kind of like draft lines, it felt like, and that's why I think the 3 of us worked so well together, since we were really supporting each other. But yeah, I think the strategy all in all, it worked out for us. Taking tires, filling her up just in case. But yeah, it was just the part of passing people, and we did that tonight for sure.
Yeah, talking about passing people there, on that last, I'd say about 3 or 4 laps there, that's where the intensity really turned up. a lot of give and take behind Ty. Ty was able to overtake Johnny Eckert there for the lead. But behind that battle for the lead, there was a lot of give and take. There was a lot of passing taking place. Take us through that last bit of racing there. Somehow you were able to come out in the 3rd position. Did you feel like you had a podium race car here tonight?
Yeah, I equated it to fighter jets tonight. We were just ripping off each other. It was crazy. The corner panels were very, very important to get the run on the front stretch and the back stretch. Obviously, wanted to apologize to Johnny. It was a little netcode, but got a little trigger happy off the turn 3 there in the last lap. But it was all clean. I feel like good hard racing. I wanted that top 3, the 1, 2, 3 for the team. What was the other question you asked? What you asked?
Towards the end there, it just got a little hairy. Did you feel like you had like the car
the podium? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I had a top 10 car.
Yeah.
Maybe not podium. I kind of just worked with Ty and Nick there. They kind of helped me drag me up there. I feel like I had a top 10 car. Couldn't really find the speed all night, but on that last run, I just felt confident in myself, felt confident in the team, and really happy we brought that home for the 1, 2, 3.
And talking about that podium finish there, Seth, you qualify for that Dash for Cash race next week. Our last Dash for Cash race. That's a tongue twister there in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. And we head to a road course next week, Seth. How do you carry that momentum and confidence you have with the finish here tonight onto the road course at Indy?
As sad as it makes me, I will not be competing next week. I'll be going to a conference in New York City, so I won't be at my sim rig. So congrats to Alex for taking my spot. I believe he's the alternate, right? So yeah, I was excited for it, but I think Nick and Ty will give each other for a run for money. But also Eckert, great road course driver. Never really seen Schumacher on the road courses, but hopefully he does my spot well.
There you go, Seth. But with a podium finish here tonight, speaking with Seth Ross, our 3rd place finisher here tonight in the Poc-Oh-No 200. Seth, we'd love to give you the opportunity to shout out anyone that you might have had watching here tonight on tonight's broadcast live on 3Y TV. Any sponsors that made this race possible and where they can find more information either about you or Shift Esports on social media.
Yeah, so first shout out to Launch Partners, great company, really trying to get their name in the door, or foot in the door. They do launch social media marketing, also brand rebrands. Their website is killer, I think. Great friends of mine. And they actually have a cool article coming out about our partnership, so keep an eye out for that, I guess. Yes, like you said, Shift Esports, awesome work tonight. Definitely give us a follow at Shift Esports _ on Twitter or at Shift Esports on Instagram. We got some cool content there. Shout out to myself, SR Design. If you need a paint scheme, I feel like our cars look beautiful, 1, 2, 3. So get your own paint scheme on SethRossDesign.com. And yeah, shout out to you guys for broadcasting, and Johnny and DJ Weeks and Zach Rosberg. I think that's the admin staff. I always forget. Shout out to them for putting it on. Yeah, thank you guys for another interview.
Of course, man. Great finish here tonight. Come home 3rd. Seth Ross, have a safe trip, my man. We won't see you here next week in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League, but a great finish here tonight. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a great week. Have a safe trip on your trip up to New York City, man. Congratulations on the 3rd place finish here tonight, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks. I'll be tuning in for you guys.
Appreciate that. That was Seth Ross, and that 25 machine's going to come home 3rd here tonight. The proud team owner of Shift Esports there, loves to see his drivers do well. It's time to speak with one of those drivers out of that stable here tonight. Usually we talked to him last year on 3Y TV, but tonight he comes home 2nd. Nick Indelicado, it's almost like unfamiliar territory speaking with you in the 2nd place position, as usually you're the winner here. You won last week. Tonight's race was a little bit different. We didn't have 32 cautions. We only had 1. Take us through your point of view of tonight's race here, and how are you able to fight for that 2nd place finish?
Yeah, no, it was a great race. Another top 3. I mean, I really can't complain. I think my worst finish this year is 2nd. So overall, just as a team, we did a great job. We had Dallas subbing in for Matthew. He got a top 10. And to be honest with you, there with those last 15 laps, 10 laps, I cannot say enough about this team and how well Tyler did. Tyler drove an amazing race. He was insanely fast. And the goal there at the end was to get him the win and have us 3 in the top 3, and we did just that. So overall, I hit the wall a couple times, but just stayed fast and stayed patient, and Tyler did the same, and he did a great job.
Yeah, we were actually just speaking with Seth just a little while ago. Speaking with Nick and Delicato, finished his second here tonight. Sort of a team strategy there, kind of push that second wave of pit stops a little bit further down the track. We spoke to Seth about how important that last caution was. Was that sort of a lifesaver for a lot of that strategy you guys had formed up here at Poc-Oh-No?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a lifesaver. We all had a lot of speed, but Sam was really, really fast, and he was out there in the lead. So it would have taken a lot more to get past him on that green flag run if we did stay green. But overall, the yellow did help in the end. We played our strategy there. We all took 4, and in the end, it worked out. We got through traffic a lot better than most. So, I don't know what else I can say. Is these guys on this team are really fast, and we did a great job just working through traffic and being safe and patient.
Yeah, you spoke about working through traffic and being fast there. The last, I'd say about 10, 15 laps, the intensity really turned up on the racetrack. How were you able to hold on to that second place finish there? Because there was a lot of give and take, I'd say on 3, 4th, 5th, 6th on down there. A lot of passing, a lot of momentum. How were you able to hold on to that second place finish here tonight?
Yeah, no, it was, like I said, it was a lot of teamwork. To be honest with you, a lot of the time we were going down the front straight and in those long straights. We had one of us pulling out to give our teammate behind us the draft, and then had each other pushing. So, second, I didn't think I was going to finish second there. There's a lot of times where I thought maybe we would have wrecked.
Right.
And Johnny got really close there coming out of 2, but overall it just worked out. There's nothing really much that we did special. We just stayed true to ourselves and tried to race our own race there, and it worked out. So, especially off that final corner, Seth had a crazy run and pulled it around Johnny, and we finished 1, 2, 3. So overall, it was a really clean finish.
Yeah, we were getting wild up here in the booth. We thought your strategy that you see week in and week out of that Ford machine was going to play out once again as you sort of lay back, you kind of wait your time, and then you pounce there at the end. But coming home second here tonight, Nick, you qualify for that last Dash for Cash race next week at the Indy course. I'm curious to see what your take is on that road course, and can you pick up another victory there road course racing?
Yeah, road courses, I love road courses. I wouldn't say I'm a road course guy, but I seem to be pretty fast there. So Indy Road Course is a really good track. I did when they had it on the official racing schedule. So definitely looking forward to it. And the Dash for Cash just definitely makes me want to win it more. So next week's going to be fun. I know, it's not going to be easy, though. There's a lot of good guys at road courses. And you got to be mistake-free. There's no yellows. So I got to do everything I can to stay clean, and that track is pretty tough. So I'm looking forward to next week, and hopefully we can sweep all the Dash for Cash. It'll be nice.
Yeah, man, taking home that bag, as they say in the streets. But Nick and Delicato coming home second here tonight. Another top 3 finish here on the season. I believe this is only the second time all season that you haven't won a race. So second place, a little unfamiliar territory for you, but we love to give you, the drill here. We love to give you that opportunity to shout out anybody that you have watching, any sponsors on the side of the race car, or where people can find you on social media, or more information about Shift Esports, your racing stable.
Yeah, once again, go. You saw the teamwork tonight. Our Shift Esports cars. Go check us out on Twitter, Instagram. We're trying to build the socials, so go follow that. Along with that, on my car, every week you see it, Sam Drace photo. Sam is a great friend of mine. He's sponsoring us for this year. He does motorsports photography in real life, and he's a great addition to anybody's feed. So feel free to follow him, Instagram, Twitter. Once again, just a great guy. Happy to have him on board. And then the paint schemes. You see the paint schemes for all Shift Esports cars. They're made by Seth Ross. He has his own design business, SR Design. So follow him on Twitter, Instagram as well. And if you need a paint scheme, hit him up.
Alrighty, Nick. Well, we appreciate you taking the time with us here, my man. We cannot wait to see what that Ford machine has next week as we do a little right-hand turns, a little left-hand turns, a little braking, a little give and take. I'm sure we'll speak to you again here soon, Nick. But coming home second here tonight for Shift Esports, it's definitely a happy team, though, here tonight, Nick. We appreciate you taking the time with us here. Have a great rest of your week, and we cannot wait to have you back here on 3 Wide next week here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. That was Nick and Delicato. And folks, he didn't win the race here tonight. That's why we get to speak with him last. He comes home second here, but it's definitely a happy team, as teammates are very happy for our race winner here tonight, and that is Ty McIntosh in that 10 machine. Everybody, whether they're teammates with you, my man, or they're just psyched to see you win in that 10, we could see the ferocity, we could see the excitement, we saw the fist bumps, the Tiger Woods type celebration there as you were coming onto that last corner. You knew you had that thing won. Take us through tonight's race and how you're able to put that 10 machine in victory lane.
This is just one of those races for me that it's so weird because Poc-Oh-No's, it's the only track that has 3 corners, and it's one of those where I'm not a fan of it, honestly. I don't know what it is with this next gen car and me piloting it, but it seems to work pretty well. It certainly, I thought that I was screwed. I slid my box the first pit stop, which wasn't great. Obviously set us back, but by the end of it, it really didn't matter with the way that we pitted. I think Sam took 2 tires on that last stop, which we weren't sure. But at the end of that, man, it was just trying to stay patient. And I know I say it every time that I get a chance to talk to you guys, but the drivers and Nick and Seth and everybody at Shift Esports, the way that they have coached me and even Gilberto, just that whole last 15 laps, they were in my ear trying to keep me calm. Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I get in my head all the time. I literally will be over aggressive or do something that's kind of stupid. And those guys are not only my best friends, but really, really good guys and a huge help to me in sim racing and life itself. So I can't thank them enough.
Yeah, we saw the teamwork really make the dream work there here at Poc-Oh-No. Take us through that last bit of the race, because we saw there the first couple of stages were very calm, cool, and collected. But once we got past the stage racing, that's where the intensity really went up. You saw the pit strategy windows kind of stretch out a little bit more. We saw that last yellow flag fly there. And then we really started to see you fight in that 10 machine to fight up to the top of the grid. Did you feel that intensity? Did you feel that anxiousness start to build up there towards the end of the race?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the second that I knew that there was one car in front of us that was on fresh tires and the rest of them were about 20 laps old. Well, they weren't. I think they were like 10 when the caution when we went back green. But to know that, that's makes me anxious at that because you know that you're one of the cars that has a shot to get up there and win it. But man, from inside the car, I definitely felt it. Everybody was fighting for every single inch of track position. Where I feel like for the stages. The first stage, it was really like racing with Riley. I was just trying to take the stage points because I'm still fighting to try to make the playoffs. But I know that everything definitely picked up from people trying to race, from us working together. We had to make sure that we were doing it perfectly. I definitely know that we were not saving tires that last bit. So it was everything picked up.
Definitely. And talking about picking up, you picked up the lead from that battle with Johnny Eckert. Did you start to see that move kind of come into formation there as the laps were ticking down, or was that sort of a move that you just committed to and got past the 90, and once you did, you knew you had that race won?
I mean, I knew that I was going to try to make it in turn 1. I definitely didn't want to be on his outside. I honestly thought that I had messed up the corner, but when I saw that he also sent it in, I was able to cut down and get that run. I don't know where that came from. All I heard was Seth screaming that it was a good idea. So, I don't know. I wanted to be underneath him because I felt like that was where the new tires played the best compared to the old ones, but definitely didn't want to be on his outside and us both get tight and plow into the wall. Right. It was ideal after that, but not the way that I wanted it to happen, but it looked nice, so we'll take that for the highlight reel.
Indeed, it looked nice. Indeed, it looked nice with that 10 machine crossing that start-finish line first. Speaking with Ty McIntosh, our race winner here tonight. And Ty, with that race win, not only do you solidify, I'd say you solidify your spot in the playoffs, but you also qualify for that last Dash for Cash race next week at the road course. How can you carry this celebration, this confidence into the road course racing next week?
If there's a place I'm going to need it, it's going to be a road course. Especially if it's Watkins Glen, I'm fine. Sonoma, I'm decent. Indy road course, I really would have rather qualified a couple weeks ago.
Right.
But I mean, you know, it's one of those where I have the time to practice and work towards it. I'm going to work a little harder now that I know that there's money on the line. But as long as one of our shift cars come through with it, which I think this is massive for us to have a 75% shot of taking home some cash. That's huge for us. So,
looking at the playoff standings so far right now, looks like the whole stable of Shift Esports will qualify for the playoffs. Don't want to call it just yet, as we still have that road course. We still have Dover and Charlotte to close out this regular season, but it must feel just fantastic to break through in that 10 machine. We saw that celebration. We saw that excitement, even going down to the last corner when you knew you had it won. With that race victory, Ty McIntosh, you get that opportunity to shout out anybody that you had watching here tonight. You already spoke about your teammates that made this race possible, but again, if you want to shout them out as well, where people can find you out on social media.
So Shifty Sports on Twitter, Instagram, everything there. As Nick said earlier, we're really working to build those socials and get our partners out there more. For Harlander, I can't say enough about these guys, and I'm so glad that we were able to get them a win during the regular season, because these guys have been they've been some cheerleaders for me, man. They've watched a lot of the races. I think Daytona they watched for DSCR, which was huge, and everything they've done for me. And I'm hoping that we can maybe talk them into jumping on one of our other cars as a secondary deal. I know that they probably enjoy it, but it feels great to get them a win. My Energy for being an associate sponsor. Of course, Seth Ross Designs. This thing is beautiful. I say it every time. I'm going to keep saying it. I don't think this paint scheme's going anywhere for the rest of the year, other than maybe some pink for the rest of the month. I don't know. Let's see. Bayou, Altics, everything that I don't know why I call them Altics. You guys don't know them as that, but this is what happens when you get me anxious and flustered.
Hey, it's you're celebrating, you're feeling it, man. You're coming off a huge win at Poc-Oh-No. You had to fight for the win, so we totally understand.
I almost did it again. Matthew Bike, everything that he's done for us, he and Seth have the group that we have with Shifty Sports and S2. It's beautiful the way that we work together. Obviously you guys know us from Oscar as well, so I wanted to win one of these races, whether it was here or there. Haven't had the luck in Oscar. We've been running a lot better lately, but to finally get a win on the board makes me feel a lot more confident in my abilities, and I'm not going to think about it nearly as much. So yeah, S2, Shift, everybody there. You guys are putting on the show, and Johnny, I really, with his season, I did not want to take it from anybody. I would take it from anybody but him. I know that's what I was thinking in my head. I know he's had a crappy season, but I hate it. But I literally feel like Denny Hamlin and Matt Benedetto right now. It's bad.
Hey, somebody's gonna win at the end of the day, and tonight it was you, Ty McIntosh. You come home with the huge win here tonight at Poc-Oh-No. Hey, huge congratulations from us here at 3YTV. I know the road course you just spoke about maybe it's not going to be your best race next week, but still got Dover and Charlotte to end out this regular season. But it is that 10 machine that crosses the finish line first here tonight, my man. Big win. I know you want to go celebrate just a little bit. You want to get off that headset, get off the rig here, and go celebrate. Maybe talk to your teammates a little bit here tonight. But Ty, we appreciate you taking the time with us, my man. And again, a huge congratulations on the race win here tonight.
Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And that was our race winner, Ty McIntosh. You could tell how he wanted that race victory here tonight, Carlos. We do want to thank him for allowing us to get that webcam point of view as well. It's always...
Yeah, well said. But yeah, without that, I think it's good enough time for us.
Carlos, as I broke up just a little bit there, I got a little anxious behind the microphone as well. It's always good to see and talk to the drivers during the race there, Carlos. But you could hear in his voice, and you could see him that he really wanted this race victory here tonight, and how much it meant to him to cross the finish line first.
Yeah, it was very, very excited for him to be able to do that, and it was genuinely a pleasure for us to be able to actually even capture that moment, let alone be able to interview him afterwards and get his thoughts on it.
Yeah, it was a huge win. It was a huge night for Shift Esports as they go 1, 2, 3 at the top of the grid. And as mentioned, they might have all of their drivers qualifying for the playoffs at the end of the day. So a special season so far for Shift Esports. You have to feel for Johnny Eckert, though, not the finish that he was planning on here tonight, as well as Sam Brochu, who finished outside of the top 5 after leading a lot of laps here tonight. But it was Ty McIntosh and that 10 machine that crosses the finish line first here tonight at Poc-Oh-No. For everybody here at 3 Wide Racing Television, we want to appreciate everybody for tuning into the broadcast here tonight. You can catch 3 Wide TV tomorrow night in the OSCA series, or right back here next Wednesday as we head to the Indianapolis road course. But special thanks to our sponsors here in DSCR, Manny Rays and Pro Air Medical Systems there. But once again, it's Ty McIntosh coming home with the race victory here tonight. Again, I am William Tiller. That was Carlos Acosta, my wonderful co-host and the man behind the decks here at 3Y TV. We want to wish everybody a great night, a great rest of your week, and we will catch you right back here tomorrow night in the Oscar Racing Series. Have a great night, and we'll see you on the track.